Hi, this is Ed Lawrence with Colliers. I'm here with David Heaton and Gregg Broujos from the Buncher Company. This is for the second quarter 2026 Colliers newsletters. David Heaton is President and CEO, and Gregg is the Executive Vice President. Thanks so much for your time this morning, gentlemen. We're really interested to hear some of your opinions on the market and some other things. So before we get started with that, did you want to provide a little bit of background on yourselves?
Sure. So, like Ed mentioned, I'm the president and CEO of the Buncher Company. I've been here for about 5.5 years. Before that, I was with Oxford Development for 20 years. And prior to that, I had a few assignments with large construction companies. It's where I started my career. My education by background is I have an architectural engineering degree from Penn State, and I think that's really given me a good foundation in a lot of areas to support me throughout my career.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks.
Yeah, Gregg Broujos, I'm the Executive Vice President for leasing at the Buncher Company. Came over here almost 4 years ago. I was thankful that Dave asked me to join. I previously was one of Ed's partners at Colliers, and we had a good run, sold the company to the corporate parent, and the timing was just right for me to join David and his effort to turn the next chapter of Buncher. And it's been going great, and it was a little different from brokerage, but we still have brokerage services, so I still am part of the brokerage community.
Perfect. And a lot of people in Pittsburgh know about your educational background, being a big pig guy, so it's nice you have the balance there. Okay, right.
Making it worse.
Excellent. That's all you could do, day by day. So just to jump into it a bit, Buncher, you describe yourself as a mission-driven firm, closely tied to community impact, the successes that you've had. How does that philosophy show up in your decision-making today, particularly in a more disciplined investment environment that we're seeing now?
Yeah, well, I think maybe one clarification, just so everybody understands,
Sure.
to say part of our community-driven impact is that as part of Jack Buncher's estate planning, he gave the company away. So we are now owned by 6 nonprofit shareholders. We're a for-profit company, but we pay dividends to the 6 nonprofit shareholders. 5 of them are based in Western PA, and there's a lot of good they're doing in the community. And so that really makes us different than a typical developer or asset manager in what guides our decisions. We're looking for stability. We're not swinging for fences, trying to hit home runs. We just want, slow, moderate growth that we can continue to support the shareholders and without any really significant fluctuations year to year. We really want to try to keep it slow and steady and growing. And so that is really the underlying principle of all of our evaluations and trying the financial metrics as we evaluate opportunity.
Yeah, and that's kind of consistent with the Pittsburgh market in general, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of steady Eddie and consistent, which I think draws a lot of investors here to the region. So, and from your perspective, how would you characterize current market conditions? Because they're somewhat unique. I know you have various asset classes in your portfolio. Where are you seeing the most resilience and momentum right now?
Sure, we have about 7.7 million square feet in the portfolio. About 80% of it, maybe 78%, is industrial. But we do have some office buildings. We have some retail. David, a few years ago, started to diversify the product type. So we do have some more retail. And also we have 2 hotels now. We were lucky enough to close on the Hyatt House in Shadyside in January. So we do have a heavily tilted industrial portfolio. But what we've seen over the last year, quite honestly, is a real nice pickup in the Class B. We have Class A industrial, we have some Class B. Again, years ago, David and I talked about, we're starting to do it, kind of raising our Class B minus to B or B plus by investing millions of dollars into some of our parks, and that's gone very well. As you know, commercial real estate's a lagging indicator of the economy. However, we also see that with our own portfolio. And we were a little slow with the Class B industrial product maybe, 12, 15 months ago, but we've seen a great pickup. Some of the slowdown was due to tariffs, quite frankly. It was that initial smack in the face. But, as things have settled down, we really like where we're at with our industrial portfolio.
That's fantastic. Good for you. I'm just curious, kind of piggyback on that a little bit, Greg, in terms of your portfolio. Are you noticing any changes in today's environment in terms of how tenants evaluate space maybe than a few years ago?
Yeah, and it all has to do with our arch nemesis, power, and energy and electric. So yeah, David and I talk about that all the time, and it's a struggle right now. Today's tenants, again, because we're so industrially tilted, they need a lot more power than in the past. In the past, we could have a 80,000 square foot warehouse with 800 amps. That's not the case anymore. Every single tenant that we have coming in needs a higher power requirement. And that basically happened, in our business pretty much overnight. It's incredible where that's gone. Other than that, though, we have seen on our office portfolio, we've seen a slight reduction. So when we have a tenant on the office side come from another building or relocate, come from out of town, they are taking a little bit less space. However, they want really nice space, and we've been able to deliver that.
That's great.
On the retail side, slow, and it's just like slow and steady. You don't get huge bumps in the rental rates on the retail side, but like the rest of Western PA over the last 10 years, the retail occupancy rates have led all sectors.
Right. Yeah, it really didn't take a dip, retail, after COVID even. It's been pretty steady the entire time. And I guess, David, going back to your comments about a little bit about Buncher's philosophy of being consistent across the board, emphasizing stability, expertise, dependability. How do those values influence your internal decision-making process and external relationships that you have in the CRE community?
Well, I think one of the things that we've really focused on since I joined was, changing a little bit of the way we work. We're really, a big part of that was moving to our offices over here at One Waterfront Place.
Okay.
And, trying to create a culture of collaboration. We've had a very experienced staff, which can be great in a lot of ways. But we just get to a point where, over the last few years, we've had a significant number of retirements, and that's great, but you lose a lot of historical knowledge, and we're trying to, recruit, retain the people we have, and recruit more younger qualified individuals into it. And so, I was very happy when Gregg agreed to join us, because I think he's been a big part of that and mentoring. Yeah. We're trying to be very active in industrial, in organizations, throughout the industry, throughout the real estate community. And, I think it's that type of that leadership and collaboration that we're trying to bring in across the board, and, leverage some of the knowledge that some of the more senior people have, to transfer that, into the younger generation and help bring them along. And over the last 3 years in particular within our office, we've really, seen a big shift into a younger employee.
That's fantastic. And it does seem like there's a trend now with colleges and universities offering real estate programs and CRE programs actually now in our own backyard. And you have the Pitt and Penn State pipelines too, which you could take advantage of. So
yeah, well, I think that is interesting, because I think I wouldn't say it's every month, but maybe even more often, that somebody randomly will reach out from Pitt or Penn State to me or Greg and just say, hey, can we come in and talk and understand what's happening in the community? And I think we're both, whenever possible, we're happy to meet and give a little guidance. And
I think it's a smart thing to do. Yeah, I went to a small little school in Ohio, Denison, and the same thing. Some younger people reach out that are curious. about the industry. And I'm happy to, it's smart to jump on a call with them and you can kind of light that spark a little bit.
And understand what they're looking for and why. And if we don't have it here or the current need for it, we're fortunate to have a lot of friends in the industry, and maybe we can guide them to something that's a good fit for them.
Well, Buncher certainly has a strong name and great reputation, which helps. So, and then I hate to use the cliche, but I will, but the crystal ball question as far as, what your outlook is in terms of the second half of 2026, obviously with the war and some other macro external conditions. It's made for an interesting environment. How do you think things might play out towards the tail end of the year?
You started.
Yeah, so I think, again, we're optimistic that this momentum's going to continue just because there was so much pent-up demand, and there were a lot of projects put on hold for a long time. I think that with the combination of some of the larger projects that are going on in Pittsburgh and Western PA, and construction projects and data center and institutional, our institutions are fantastic for the economy. We still think there'll be good momentum. I do think we will not see the rate spikes that we've seen going up, right now, but I think it's going to be consistent. I think they're not going to go down, but they're not going to, increase, at a high percentage, which is fine. Again, like we said, Pittsburgh's always been that kind of market where, we don't suffer from any hangovers because we're not invited to the party.
Right. Yeah, so exactly.
Which is, that was my motto in college.
Sure. I guess I will add that Gregg speaking mostly from the leasing perspective, but as we talk about rebalancing, trying to diversify the portfolio, 5 years ago, 80% of the portfolio was warehouse and industrial. Right. We've started to change that a little bit, but it's still probably in the mid 70s, upper 70s. And we're continuing to look for opportunities to do that. So depending upon what's happening in the market with interest rates, it may impact what's the right time to try to make some of these moves. So while we will definitely be making them over the next few years, some of the timing may be impacted a little, depending upon what's happening.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
And the thing is, we always talk about being opportunistic. So what like David mentioned, it's not like we have to place money or we have to do this or have to, get a project going. We are afforded that luxury of being opportunistic. So, we have great land, obviously, especially in the city, in the Strip. But, we can wait for the right project. We've talked about, partnering with some folks if the opportunity is right. But, that's the good thing about Dave's leadership is it's very steady and calm, and we'll wait to be opportunistic.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to be in that position, like you mentioned. Just the transformation of the area right around us here, sitting in the Strip District as a native Pittsburgher. When I bring friends in that were here maybe 20 or 25 years ago and bring them back now, it's really night and day. Yeah, my wife and I had a lot of good times at the Metropole. Yeah. But then it was like a Permane sandwich and then we're out of here. But now, there's so many, great things to be able to see and do. It's wonderful. So, and I think that's really part of the Buncher legacy, if you will. So, well, this has been terrific. We covered a lot of ground and really thank you for your time this morning. And again, this is Ed Lawrence with Colliers. I just interviewed David Heaton and Gregg Broujos with the Buncher Company, and this will be as part of our Q2 2026 reports. Thank you.